Put it on the other side. Where? Yours doesn't have... Oh.
Testament to that you think I'm just dull.
Mine has support on both sides.
Well, you got a different version than me, apparently. This is so bad, and then whenever I pull up the notes, my thumbs are not delicate enough to look at them.
Oh, mine aren't either. My thumbs are too big for the phone all the time.
Welcome to Read It and Screech, the podcast.
For the ones who try but can't see the stars, keep looking up.
If you're too loud, you can sit with us while I give you the Cliff's Notes and the cringiest quotes, and we go screeching all the way. I'm Grace, and this is my co-host, Ava. This week, we present Gild, the first book in the Plated Prisoner series.
I thought we read that already.
We did not. I felt like we did too, but we didn't. It's by Raven Kennedy. It is 402 pages, 9 hours and 18 minutes audio, narrated by Anthony Palmini and Lily Drake. It has 3.6 stars on Goodreads. I really liked it at first. It's a series that's good the first time, and then when you go back to reread it, it ruins everything. And that's what Lies Beyond the Veil was like for me too. Because the first time I read it, I thought this is literary excellence. And then when I read back, I was like, they left her disabled mom in the middle of a mob. It's first person point of view set in the world of Auria. There are 6 kingdoms. The main characters live in the kingdom of Hybel. It's a winter kingdom, and they're all on the verge of war, especially against the 4th kingdom, which is the kingdom of Rot. And the king of Rot is like the big bad guy of all the kingdoms. His name is...
This sucks.
I think his name is Slade.
No!
The characters are... The female main character is Oren.
I work with a guy named Oren.
Aaron. 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 She is the favorite concubine /
Of course she is, because they never make a story about the least favorite concubine.
No. Well, no. Also known as a saddle of King Midas. He likes her so much that he made her into gold as well as everything else. Everyone hates her for being the favorite, so she has no friends. She has ribbons that go down her back that grow out of her spine. And she has to wear dresses that make it look like they're part of her wardrobe. And she has caged walkways along the ceilings of the whole palace like a little kitty cat. We have King Midas. He's a little piece of shit. He is allegedly charismatic, but that is yet to be seen. He's charmed his way into the queen's panties, and now he and Aaron were besties when he married the queen, and then he made her his favorite saddle.
I don't like it.
Then we have Rissa. She's one of the other main saddles who gets a lot of screen time. And then King Ravenger is the king of Rot in 4th Kingdom, who everyone's afraid of.
This book is the king of Rot.
Yes. So we open on a 7-way orgy.
No!
Arya is sad that she didn't get to participate. Instead, she watches from a gigantic bird cage while he throws her a pity fuck afterwards. She begs for some socialization because no one wants to hang out with her. He tells her...
I don't want to hang out with her either. Can we just quit now?
He tells her that she's not paid to think.
She's not paid at all!
Right. She's made of gold. She's made of her payment. He says, you could be a whore pissing in a bucket and fucking on the street. So be happy.
Literally pissing in a bucket.
So be happy. So the next morning, they're making her play the harp at breakfast. And this gross king from one of the other kingdoms is visiting to make an alliance. And this is their way of socializing her, is letting her play the harp. Midas trades a night with Aaron to the visitor in exchange for his alliance. She's super offended.
It's extremely cheap.
She is super offended because he's never done this before. She thinks this is strange behavior from a man who refers to her as his favorite saddle. He says, you're a saddle and anyone gets a turn as I see fit. So play your harp and be grateful. So they're making all these plans to attack the 4th kingdom, and they do all this in front of her because she's just a lady. So they just talk about private things in front of her. Midas lets it slip that he wants to invade 4th kingdom because they have valuable mines that they want to control. While they're having this meeting, the king calls the other saddles to come entertain, and Aaron feels bad because they all look exhausted. So she offers to make a distraction so they can rest, but they tell her, no, fuck you and your gold cunt. So she throws a book at Rissa specifically to help her, hoping that it will get her off the hook entertaining the creeps. She does not appreciate this favor, and they say, okay, well, since you interrupted, you have to dance for us. So she does. And the visiting king says a bunch of nasty shit, so then she's crying and dancing.
This sucks.
That's all? You have any questions?
No!
Or concerns? Their weird dance party is interrupted by the queen. Arin uses the opportunity to run out of the room and accidentally ends up in the same one where Midas and the queen have gone to argue. So she hides behind some plants and hears them argue about the impending conflict. He shits on her and tells her she's just a lady, and they leave.
Just a lady.
Apparently, the brief argument lasted all day because that weird dance party was at breakfast and now suddenly it's nighttime. She runs to her room and the queen catches her there and grabs her by the hair and tells her that she saw her earlier listening to the argument between her and Midas.
Explain this like this. Do you know what this sounds like? Do you know what a homeschool run is?
Who?
A homeschool run?
Well,
think about it.
Run?
Think about it.
Like a 5K?
No, a homeschool run.
Like flapping your arms?
No.
Autistic run.
A homeschool run, it's pretty obvious, is when they do it into adulthood, is like when a kid will like be like, we'll be right back. And they run full speed with no charge from one thing to another and then back. They'll be like, we'll be right back. And they run and grab and they, like, it's almost like
it's not a homeschool
it's
thing,
almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever that character, Naruto.
No,
they like arms behind them, full charge run. And it sounds, whenever you say it, when they run and run back, that's what it sounds like.
There was a kid I taught who would do that, and the homeschool vibes he gave were high.
Told you.
And his mom dressed like a
Thorn
with
said
her
like
jeans
some
skirt.
public schoolers do it, and I said, no, it has a specific taste.
She runs to her room.
Full speed, full charge.
And the queen catches her there and grabs...
No lead up, no cool down.
Tells her that she saw her earlier listening to the argument between her and Midas and shits on her for being the favorite and leaves. The way they're fine being called, they're like fine being called saddles. I would rather piss on a button, piss in a bucket. I'd rather piss in a bucket and fuck on the street than sit in a castle and be called a saddle.
Would you? Listen to yourself.
Later, Midas comes to grovel for being a colossal piece of shit and tells her to just go along with everything, with the whole being traded to the visiting king thing and everything, and to just trust him. So the time comes for her to be sold to the visitor, and she takes her
that happened like 2 days.
Sweet time getting ready. No, it's just been like dragging this whole time.
No, she had to run a bunch of places first.
She goes down to the celebration where she's going to be given to this guy, and it looks like Midas is just going to go ahead and let it happen. He makes her sit in his lap and feed him, and it's getting nastier and nastier. Rissa...
Is it? Because porter potties in Dubai exist. Wait till this author finds out about that. She's going to write her sequel.
Probably. Rissa sees how uncomfortable she's being. Oh yeah, there's just like 5 of these books.
Yeah. Someone shits on someone. Someone's taking a dump on someone's chest.
Rissa sees how uncomfortable she's being and comes over to distract him, but it only works for a little bit. Right when he tries to take her to his room, though, Midas tells him that he basically tricked him into attacking Fourth Kingdom alone and let his army get slaughtered while Highbell just chilled. So they're like, ready? 1, 2, go. Except for they didn't go. The other people went and they just stayed there. This does not sit well with the visitor, and so he tries to kill... No. He tries to kill Arin, but her guard kills him before he can. Midas comes to grovel again later and bathes her and has smushy sex with her, so she forgives him. He tells her that he's sending her and the other saddles off to the kingdom of the guy that was just killed.
This book sucks.
Do you know how many horrible books we've read? And
this
you
is bad.
You
really bad.
We read the thing about the dildo and the demon.
The demon was better than
it wasn't. We read the thing.
You have been saying a lot of things and nothing has happened yet.
Yeah.
This has been the same day. For 5 minutes.
We read the one about the girl who was a psychic detective in Tennessee. Basically, he makes a story about how he was an ally and the guy would have wanted him to take control of his kingdom as well. So he's going to send off his wife and saddles to the other kingdom so they can establish themselves there.
Why am I supposed to be happy that a mediocre man has this many women to
No, he's mid as fuck.
And you know she's going to meet somebody else to end up with and be in love with.
First of all,
so we're just waiting around to meet him?
We are, yes. He is mid as fuck, and...
This is trash literature!
We'll get...
And you're like, oh, Eva, why don't you have more to say about a shitty king of a shitty place who has too many girlfriends
I have everything.
that he gets to fuck whatever he wants?
Yes, I think you have a lot to say about shitty white guys.
We don't know if he's white.
We do.
Who says?
The book.
You didn't tell me. I was trying not to assume.
I'm pretty sure he's white. I'd be shocked otherwise. Okay.
Maybe they are being inclusive.
She's not.
Maybe he's a black
Don't
man
worry.
with ADHD.
Don't worry,
Maybe
she's
she's
not.
being really inclusive.
No.
I don't know.
I think the good guy.
I just hate
I
it.
think the good guy might be.
When will my vice begin?
Anyway.
Not now.
They make a caravan and make their way out into the snow to travel to the kingdom of the guy that Midas just assassinated. When they're going through one of the cities, she tucks and rolls out of the carriage with no warning, saying she just wants to stretch her legs against better judgment. They let her. There's a cute young guard who she befriends. His name is Sale.
Fucking song.
This makes the others even more jealous of her because she gets the attention of all the cute guys. As they're traveling through the kingdom.
Because she's made of gold.
As they're traveling through the kingdom, the further they get from the palace, the worse and worse the living conditions get.
The worse and worse this book becomes.
Yeah. Until it's just a slum where there's...
The story is a slum.
It's just a slum where there's babies crying and it smells like piss and sweat. So it turns
I
out...
was wrong. It could now babies
Yeah.
crying.
So it turns out Midas has been hoarding all of this gold instead of using it to improve the kingdom.
Making them into women. Can you imagine starving to death on the edge of a slum and then finding out that this man has golden pussy?
Yep. So the convoy does not want to spend time among the poors.
Awful.
The povels. So she feels bad and gives a group of kids some gold.
Some of her fingers.
Yeah.
Coffee toe.
Mhm. They ask if she's a princess, but she's not. She's just...
But she's not. The end.
She's just a gold whore. Respectfully. She's a gold whore.
Not really.
As soon as the rest of the adult poors realize what she's doing, they immediately start pawing at her.
Yeah, they're gonna rip off her fingers.
Yeah, and she has to get the hell out of there.
Carve off a piece. Give me one of them kidneys.
So they keep going along, and they run into a pile of rotting bodies. And it's King Rot leaving the soldiers that crossed his borders as a treat for Midas. She's hanging out with Sale the whole time because he's her only friend. He's her only friend. Sale! They erect a tent for her at night, and I don't think...
Do they?
I
think he erects the tent for her all the time. What are you talking about?
I don't think...
Not just at night.
I don't think pitching a tent was a good enough reason to use the word erect. She gets mad saddle sores from riding the horse. She insists on riding the horse anyway because it's the only time...
He insists on riding her anyway.
She insists on riding the horse anyway because she gets to talk to her only friend and be outside.
Get MRSA from her open wound.
So her personal guard overhears her and Sale betting on the weather and tells her that no one gets to place bets with the favored saddle.
Or what?
Respectfully.
Let's be real.
One of the other saddles overhears...
Be so fucking for real right now. We are no longer in a city. We're no longer, like... Oh, also, here's an obscure rule. Never betting with her. Fuck you.
Really? One of the other saddles overhears and takes the opportunity to call her a cold
plate.
a cold gold-plated bitch.
And gold plate.
And also shits on her for the fact that Midas never fucks her in public like he does the others.
Aww.
Her feelings are very hurt. Instead of taking the compliment, Arin runs off embarrassed, and Sale runs after her to console her. Sale was right about the impending weather, and they end up traveling through the night in a fucking blizzard. She gets back in the carriage to stay warm.
You know what I feel like this is? So, if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, there's like
again with the Game of Thrones.
There's a whole season where Daenerys is walking through the desert on her way to, with all of these like concubines and shit from the Dothraki horde. And this seems like a direct rip off that.
First of all, it's snow, not desert.
But I know, but they just said, oh, well, let's do snow instead of sand. And she's riding on the horse. Same shit.
Does she have a gold cut?
Essentially.
Oh, well, maybe. It could be. It's just like Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So she gets back into the carriage to stay warm, but
There's no real thing under her. No. It was that quote. There's no new room.
there's nothing new.
No new thing under heaven.
No
new thing under heaven.
Nothing new. So she gets back into the carriage to stay warm, but all the others get stuck in the snow.
You gonna fail. Direct quote.
She tries to help them get the camp set up for the night, but they won't let her.
Ooh.
So she gets her own erect tent.
She gets her own erection.
Cold and alone, while the other girls share one and stay warm. Doesn't make sense. Well, I guess, I don't know. She's made of gold. She doesn't generate her own heat because she's made of gold. The storm lasts for 3 days, and it's just generally not a good time.
What if she just froze to death?
That'd be great.
That'd be nice.
She's made of gold. She can't. She washes her...
Can't be warm, skip, freeze to death. What can she do?
Well, she can fuck with her gold cup.
Honestly, that's the sound.
If you were like...
Why does he want to
metal
sleep
hit metal?
Right, like, why does he want to sleep with her? She's rigid.
Right.
This is horrible.
Men will fuck anything. That's what you have failed to... That's what you failed to calculate.
They will fuck fruit, not...
There's a man who fucks his car.
I don't like that.
Men will fuck anything. She washes...
Some men. Some men. We love and respect all kinds.
She washes her hair with cold water, and they get back on the...
Because for some reason, in case we got anybody warm.
They get back on the road, and she falls asleep in the carriage despite having nothing to do for the past 3 days but sleep. She wakes up when the carriage stops due to a disturbance in the road, but no one will tell her what's happening. Said disturbance turns out to be that they've just gotten to the last leg of the journey, which is a valley with snow-covered mountains around it. They're concerned about...
This person likes snow a lot.
They're concerned about an avalanche or a trap.
So
they've sent a scout out, and they have not returned.
Every other sentence, they are in the snow, in the snow.
In the precipitation.
In the snow, and they're cold in the snow.
So they have sent out a scout, and the scout has not returned. I don't know how they thought a scout would prevent an avalanche, but I just work here.
Who did they send?
Who did they send, class? It was like the first one that went out, we don't know. The second one who went out was like her personal guard. Because like, they're like, can I speak to the manager? And Sarah was told to keep special watch of her while her personal guard of a long time went. They hear a loud crack and assume it's the sound of an avalanche or a storm, but it's neither. 3 guesses to what it is.
Golden cooch.
No. Clapping the gold cheeks. No.
An avalanche.
No.
Sail returning.
Oh, Sail was there. Her other guard left. It is snow pirates with Russian accents.
Oh, come on. Snow again.
Except they're sex trafficking snow pirates. So not good.
First off, everything in this book is sex trafficking, so unsurprised.
Yeah. So the snow pirates attack the caravan and kidnap the girls. Sail tries to protect her, but he's no match for the Russian snow pirates.
Well, then he's not great.
The pirates tear the whole place apart, taking the ladies and stripping naked and killing the gentlemen. Not a great time for them to have gold-plated everything, because there's lots to steal.
So Sail dies.
In a minute. The ladies are quite a find for them due to them being royal saddles, and they will fetch a fine price at the market.
Oh my god, ew.
Once they've inventoried all the spoils, they send out a bunch of messenger hawks to potential buyers. Arn tries to reason with the head pirate, saying that Midas will pay for their return, but he is not interested in a ransom.
Me neither.
He goes to grope her, and Sail commands him not to. And as punishment, the king rubs snow on his head.
More snow.
Then kills him and hangs him off the front of the ship.
I knew he was going to die.
So much for her only friend. So all the ladies are shoved into a cabin on the ship, and they all hate Arn because she's gotten special treatment this whole time. When they let them out of the cabin, she runs to get Sail off the front of the ship and drags him to throw him over the edge. They all watch her, and she's very out of shape, so it's hard to watch.
Oh my god!
She does finally succeed, and the captain assumes that she was trying to escape, but she was just trying to give him a very slightly more respectful burial.
Perfect.
Which, it's like, you know, the bodies on Everest?
Yeah.
Add Sail. Add Sail to those, because he's not going to decomp there in the snow, but okay.
Pretty crusty and
Mm-hmm.
off to the side.
So they make the girls work the kitchen and none of them know how to cook, so they make a weird dinner. Shortly after dinner, they come to a stop so that they can meet with a client who turns out to be someone from King Rot's kingdom.
It's her alleged boyfriend finally.
Wait. So Aaron instantly recognizes him as Faye, but
Of course!
but everyone else thinks he's just some weird trash creature that the Rot King made out of trash.
Hooray! Garbage man!
His name is Rip.
This person watched Yellowstone.
Turns out there used to be another seventh kingdom that had a bridge to the Fae realm, but the bridge was destroyed and the place went to shit. So Trash Fairy Rip boards the ship and asks what they're up to. And the pirate says that they're just minding their small business. Rip says that they intercepted all of his hawks because selling ladies is gross. And that the King Rot wants...
Selling ladies is gross, but having a weird sex writing business is not.
A sex writing business? What's a sex writing business?
They're in the sex writing business.
With the saddles?
Yeah. It's fine when I do it. It's cry when you do it.
Pretty much. He says it's gross and that the King of Rot will buy them instead. She makes eye contact with him and says he's low-key hot, even though he's a fairy made of trash.
Trash man.
So they decide to eat dinner again. All of them, the pirates and the Rot soldiers. The other saddles are still mean as hell to her, and she finally tells them to stop being mean to her and be mean to the disgusting men who are trying to traffic them. Fair. She washes the dishes because she has no talent. Rip and the pirate make a deal for the people, and the pirate tries to keep Aaron, but Rip isn't having it.
Of course.
Pirate doesn't understand how Rip knew Aaron was there because he didn't write about it in any of the Hawk notes, but she's literally sitting right there as he's being like, how do you know I have her? She's right here. That's how I
have
know.
eyes, Jacka.
That's how I knew. I've seen her this whole time. He says, fine, but go get the others first so the ladies don't have to sit in the snow. So Rip says okay and leaves. As soon as he's gone, the pirate has her and the girl she hit with the book earlier, Rissa, taken to his room so he can have his way with them real quick while they wait.
Ew.
His room is disgusting and his bed has stains that Aaron hopes are urine.
Oh my god, I hope it's urine. Oh my god, what's that from?
The Office. He goes, is it a blood, semen, or urine? And he goes, God, I hope it's urine. Rissa tells her to be nice and play along just to get it over with, and she volunteers to go first to spare Aaron. So she watches while he does the thing, and it's disgusting, and she yells at him to stop. She says just because Rissa is a professional doesn't mean he can treat her roughly. There's an altercation, and she finally decides she's had enough, and right when the sun starts to come up, she walks over to him and grabs him by the neck and turns him to gold with his pants around his ankles and a raging hard on.
Ew.
It's really cool, though. Well, I don't know. Rissa is freaked out and promises not to tell anyone. They toss the pirate and the chest of gold over the edge of the ship and then run back to the bed and rough themselves up and tie themselves to it. That way, when the pirates come to investigate, they say, oh, he just took the chest of gold that Rip just paid you guys and ran. Turns out they didn't bother to toss the guy's hat and coat overboard, so they almost get caught, but Rip walks in and interrupts. He says, I paid for the ladies and I will take them. I don't care about your weird pervert captain. So he takes the girls and Midas has no idea any of this happened, so he's just meandering around the new castle of the kingdom he stole. He gets a letter from King Rot saying, I've got your girl, lol. And he has a man tantrum about it. Then there's a weird poem about a gold vine. The end.
Oh, so it sucks.
I liked it. So, Eva, where are they now?
Hopefully in a dungeon.
Where's Midas? After the ending of this book, what happened to Midas?
In that weird castle.
Yeah, but obviously he can't turn shit to gold.
No, it was not obvious.
How did she do it? She turned that pirate captain to gold into a statue. I'm sorry, I thought it was very obvious she was the one who was doing it this whole time.
Well, it was not obvious. Why would he have let her leave then?
He thought he was being really covert about it. So he went to the new castle and was like, they even had a body double painted gold and go like separately a few days before they left. Because he was like, I have to keep her.
Then why would she have turned herself gold?
She didn't. She's just gold.
Ew.
She is gold and she can turn other stuff to gold.
Then why does she have to do anything that he says or sleep with him or anything? She could just say,
because she thinks that he loves her.
Just say, no, I'm not doing what you want anymore. Like, that's weird and stupid.
He's very aggressive. And now then And then he's just got her locked up. So then he's like imprisoned her. And she's like, oh, this whole time.
That's weird.
Spoiler, she turns him to gold too later. She's like, fuck you. I'm done with this. And turns him to gold too. Anyway, I thought it was obvious that it was her.
It was not.
How was it not obvious? How would she? You think
I thought
imbued her?
I thought
You
that,
think he imbued her with his
I
gold
thought
powers
that
when he had sex with her?
got, like a weird contact.
How did they all not get it? Because he fucks the other ones way more than her.
I don't know. Thought maybe some weird accident happened. When
You would have been duped just like the whole kingdom. You're his target audience.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good to learn things about yourself. No, she's magical. She's fae. She's gold fae. She got stuck on this side when she was a kid, and then she was really nervous and she thought she couldn't. She tried to be a street prostitute. That didn't work out for her. Somebody took her in.
Why do things like gold fae exist?
And then whenever like
the street prostitute be the first thing you tried to be.
I don't think that's what she's trying to be like a street ruffian. And then someone took her in, and then in puberty when like her gold powers like were coming, no one could tell her how to use them. And so she accidentally turned her little auntie who was taking care of her to gold. And then when she did it, she accidentally turned the whole city to gold that she was living in. And he found her and he was like, I'll take care of you and I'll help you control your powers. And so she's afraid to use them without, like, except for under very specific circumstances. And so he's like manipulated her into people thinking he has the powers. And she just goes with it because she feels bad for killing that whole village. So he's like, oh, no, don't worry. I got you. I can help you. So where is he now? Well, he doesn't have his powers. So he's just a guy.
So he's going to run out of money.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get his hookers back.
He's not even at his original kingdom.
So everyone's going to find out. And he's going to get mad and try to have like a war or something. Well, he's going to attempt to get her back. And when that doesn't work, he's going to...
Because that's how he became the king of Highbell, was because he digged down the queen so good and convinced her he had gold power, and were having financial troubles. So he was like, Twofer, I can like dick you down really good and I'll give you money.
I hate it.
There wasn't a lot of sex in it.
No. Just disgusting prostitution.
First of all, I don't like the tone of acting as if prostitution is gross.
I said disgusting prostitution. I didn't
have the emphasis on.
I didn't say good prostitution.
This was not good prostitution.
I said foul prostitution.
Well, I mean,
because there's definitely a bad version of it.
Are concubines prostitutes? They're really just kept mistresses.
No, concubines didn't ask to be there, so no.
So they're
mistresses
being trafficked.
Yeah.
Ew.
Like. They could be there because their dad or their brother arranged it. They could be payment for something. They're not there because they met that guy and they were like, yeah, I want an apartment in France for...
How do you know?
Because through history, that's what concubines are. In history, that's what concubines are.
Have you ever been a porta potty even?
In the Bible, even, that's what concubines are. Because
The Bible!
What's his name had 900 concubines.
Most of the knowledge I have about sex work is from the Bible.
Right! And they weren't like, oh yeah, sign me up. It was
not great.
They were like payment for things and stuff. And then he was like, I have the most in the world.
Okay, 2 more things. How many stars on Wet Hot Awful Reads?
1.
And then...
This was bad.
Eva's fiction quick flip. What are the 3 things that would fix it?
What would fix it?
Mm-hmm. 3 things to fix it.
Stop mentioning the snow so much.
That wouldn't fix the plot.
Yes, it would.
Okay, 1.
It was literally so boring. It was literally so boring. That's why it got such a low rating on What Awful Reads. Like, it wasn't...
Okay.
Like, even the other ones that were, like, bad were bad for a reason. This was boring as fuck.
Which, I hate boring books, and I gobbled it up. I don't know why.
It was literally like, and then he and I went and we walked for a long time, and then we were in bed for 40 minutes. And then there was 3 days later, he rose again.
It was like listening to my child tell me a dream.
Right.
And the way that I would look, and I would be like, how many chapters have gone by? And it would be like 1.
35?
It would be like 1 chapter, and all she did was brush her hair.
when you were like, oh, blah, 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 and they hadn't fucked that one dude yet, I was like, it's been 10 minutes. It seems like a month has passed.
Okay.
It was literally so boring. Stop mentioning the snow. Do the plot different because it's boring as shit.
Okay.
Have them meet more interesting characters in a more timely fashion.
Fix yourself as a person. This is the first author where I've learned that, like, authors will have a very specific idea.
Yeah, clearly.
They will use it multiple times.
Stop using harrowing sex trafficking
I paid
in trying to format it into like the olden days as like a
ye old sex trafficking.
yeah, like you were not as edgy and provocative as you thought you were. And how dare you say saddle as you did? You will be receiving a bill from me.
She wrote another book.
No, she didn't. Jail.
I paid money for it.
No. Ask for refund.
I paid US dollars for it. And it was called The Girl Who Cries Colors.
The Girl Who Cried, fucking leave me alone.
In this book, she has to wear gloves and stuff because
so that no one will touch her and call her a saddle. Because I
no, so that people
money for that.
So she doesn't accidentally turn stuff to gold. She has to wear gloves.
She doing the gold shit again?
No. In this book, she has to do that. In the other book, she has to wear gloves because when she touches people, she cries the color of what they're feeling. So if they're sad, she'll cry like the color of sadness. And if they're happy, she'll like cry blue. And so she has So she does this and she meets this little twerp ass
like
guy.
out loud?
And I'm like, sneak from her house. Her parents keep these paper towels with labels of what emotions that are each color, which is so gross. And she likes this guy, and he doesn't like her. Then he likes her, and then she has to move away, and she just starts doing a lot of drugs.
Me too.
And then he meets her, and she marries a mobster. And then she comes back and fucks him in a shed, and then she fakes her own death and gets with him. Takes a bunch of wild turns, and I was like, oh, you started with this weird concept about crying colors, and you evolved it into the turning stuff to gold instead. I don't know which I prefer. I should have done that one. Maybe I'll do that next time. Thank you for listening to Read It and Screech. If you'd like to support, please, God, rate, review, and subscribe. Or just tell a friend about it, but not a friend that you care too much about their friend.